Welcome everyone to the podcast of Coordikids. This is the episode number 2, and I have the pleasure to have with me Marga Grey. How are you, Marga, today?
I am very well. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being part of us. That's great.
Yes, I'm very excited too. So, today's episode is very important for me as a parent as well. Because today I'm going to ask you questions around the programs that you have developed. So I know that Coordikids have developed a lot of courses that we can actually see in the website, but I would like you to explain to us as parents a little bit of a description about each of the courses and how the program works.
Yes, I think I'll start on how I developed it and why.
Mm-hmm.
So it came to that I wanted to see more children per week than I could see, and I wanted to help them at home. I think we covered that last week a little bit, but now that then I created the big course, which we call the home course, and that was the first one we did. And I did it with a colleague who is an OT, and she's also an exercise physiologist. So with a good background in sensory processing disorder as well, and sensory integration. So then we created this one. So it's called the home course. That's the big one. Then from there, we took exercises and we created the preschool course to use in a preschool, in a group, and it can be do a whole class activity, no preparation for the teacher. She just put the video on and the kids listen and follow it. And it's about 10 minutes per day. And then also we created the classroom movement breaks, which is only 5 minutes, no preparation for the teacher. She put the video on, the class follows it from year to year 12, year 1 to year 12, and they complete that. Also no preparation for the teacher. Also the home course at home, we want to make it as easy as possible for parents. So no preparation. You will ever need only a big exercise ball, a 20-centimeter ball, which most households have, and a blanket, which I think most households have, a blanket or a sheet or a yoga mat or whatever. So yeah, that's all. And then the idea is that the parents do the exercises. They are developmentally sequenced. That means that we follow the natural developmental stages of any child. So that's why we have different levels as well.
How many levels
We
there
have
are?
8 levels. We call them 8 levels. The last level is only the last 2 week section. So the idea is that they start at level 1, and that is movement processing. So that's the basic movements. There are, as much as we could incorporate vestibular and proprioceptive activities in that. Then it's followed by motor skills. So it's a little bit more specific exercises, a little bit more specific. And we start with sequencing of exercises, although it's not a lot yet. And then the next level is what we call brain bridging, and that is in occupational therapy terms, bilateral integration and sequencing. And that is the foundation of executive functioning, of sequential memory. So those kiddies that always tell correctly, but they miss the 7, or they can spell some words, but others are really tricky. For those kids, we have the sequences, and that's how we develop. Your body develops before you can put it out to the world. Then the next level is laterality. Yes, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, how do you determine at what level they need to start?
We have put the program in 3 sections, and I had a few kids in therapy, which I recommended start at the second section because you are actually already 9 years old, quite competent. But all of those kids that I personally myself put on the second section had to go back to the first one, because it's surprising to see how many kids walk around with very poor posture very poor, core muscle strength, and they look fine. But you can see that when they balance, you can see that when they sit in front of the TV, they don't sit, they slouch and they lie down. Some of them even lie down with the head down off the couch, seeking vestibular input. So all of them had to start at level 1 again. So we said, no, now you can do home course 1, which is the first section, but you have to do that before you do home course 2. And then you have to do home course 3. But the cheapest way is to buy the whole thing in one set, and you can do it all from beginning to end.
But the most beneficial thing is to start from the beginning and continue the sequence.
Yes, absolutely. And if the child is really competent, that's why we have the 15-minute appointments. Then parents can say, listen, this is really easy. And then we can see how we can fasten the pace for the child. Sometimes we do all the exercises we do for 2 consecutive weeks, 5 days, 1 week, rest for 2 days for the brain to consolidate all the new movements, and then repeat the next week. One of the strategies to learn sensory motor skills or motor skills is repetition. And I think we all know that if you want to play tennis, if you want to do any sport, you have to do repetition. Otherwise, you can't do it.
Constant.
Repeat. And that's why we have 5 days consecutive, then rest 2 days for the brain to consolidate, then repeat for 5 days. Then usually the child finds it easy. But we might chase that up a little bit with the children that's more competent, so we can adapt when necessary.
Can you explain a little bit about the exercises that we can see in those videos?
Yes, they are. When you look at the exercises, you think, oh, boring, it's so easy. And we hear that a lot from especially little ADHD boys who find it really boring to do these slow exercises. But the reason why they are slow is to calm the body and the brain so that they can focus. And the big thing with a child with attention deficits is usually to stop, think about what you have to do, and then do it. They often rush into tasks, or they just, they literally stand in front of a task and their brain goes in all different directions, and they don't know where to start. So we want them to calm down so that they can stop, observe the situation, and then start. And that's why all the exercises are slow.
I also have seen in the videos that you normally use rhythm in the video recordings. Can you explain why?
Yes, that has to do with the sequencing and the calming down. So the rhythms are usually, they start very slow and then they speed up a little bit through the exercise. But that is also, everything in life is in a rhythm. From the seasons in the year, from the day-night cycles, from the moon cycles, to our own routines, everything is in a rhythm and in cycles. And if we don't have that, we are often dysregulated. So that helps with regulation as well.
Yeah, we can tell from a mom's perspective, for example, the rhythm that we provide to a baby when we're hammock like the baby to get him asleep, right?
Yes.
We're providing that kind of rhythm.
And that's a very old thing. Hey, from our grandmothers, they rock the babies, put them in hammocks, you put them in swings, and we all know that most children calm down in swings if you swing them in a regulated, slow movement.
Rhythm.
Yeah.
Perfect. So how long does it typically take to move between levels?
It's about there's 8 levels, so it's about 3 to 5 sets of exercises that you do for 2 weeks each. So it's anything from 6 weeks to 8 weeks to perhaps 10 weeks, and then you move on to the next set of exercises.
And when you access to, for example, for the home course, if I'm a parent and I want to purchase the home course to use at home, do I have access for a whole year?
Yes. If you purchase the home course in one, just the full home course, then you have access to the whole one from beginning to end for a whole year. If you purchase it so that you pay monthly for it, then like a subscription, then you pay every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks, and literally on the second that you bought it, you will get the new set of exercises. So sometimes parents say, I bought it last Sunday and it's Sunday today and I haven't received my new exercises. Or I bought it 2 weeks ago and said, okay, you bought it at 2 minutes past 6, so you'll have to wait for 2 minutes past 6, then you'll have it. So that's the only thing that's a bit annoying. But as soon as you know what's happening, then that's okay. And then every 2 weeks, they get a new set of exercises.
And can parents do this home course at home? Do they need a therapist to have there present or not?
The course is designed to have it with a parent and a child as a homework activity. So that means that we don't need a therapist in the room. But many parents feel unsure. They see a child and they think, now, it's not exactly the same as the video, but is it good enough? Is it not? Then they can take a video and we work with TheraTrack, or they can send me a video on email or WhatsApp. I delete it after I've seen it. And then I can give feedback, me or one of the other therapists in Coordikids. And we can just say, oh, perhaps you should do it one more week. Or, no, he's doing fine. Just continue with it. And that's why we
So
have
you're still in the background there. It's not that they only have the home course and that's it. No, they have you there in the background for support.
Absolutely. And that's why we have those 15-minute free appointments. That very seldom 15 minutes. I usually give them more time. But anyway, that's how we set it up.
How do you track the progress along the way? Only if they send you videos, or do you have another kind of way to track the progress of the child?
Yeah, at the moment it's mostly videos and through TheraTrack, because on TheraTrack, if we set them up there and it's the parent's choice whether they want to be up there, then we can ask the child or the parent to give feedback after every session and to say, yes, that was easy, that was good, that wasn't good, I found it very difficult. And then they can add videos and we can look at those videos, and it stays on that app. It's a secure place to stay. It can't go on the internet from there. So yeah, because I know
For the
many
ones
parents
that
are cautious.
For the ones that they don't know, TheraTrack is an app designed by an OT called Laura Simmons. And so we work together in this project as well. And we deliver the home course through her app. So we can easily track during their exercises, putting videos inside that app, and we can easily see it and we can respond. We can give some feedback and keep track of the progress.
Yeah. Yes, and so that I think that gives the parents also a little bit of security. And of course, Coordikids is not meant to replace therapy. It's meant to complement therapy. It's a very good tool for people living remotely or people who are just so full on busy with work and other appointments that they find it really challenging to get the child into therapy every week. So then they can do that at home and we can support, but we are very happy to collaborate with their own therapist. So we don't say, oh, no, you do therapy there and we do Coordikids here. No, we all work together for the benefit of the child and the child's family.
If you need to choose your favorite level to watch a child move through, which one would be?
Yeah, I love the first two because the children changes and parents report that they also emotional regulation improves.
Mhm.
So I love that, but I also love it at about the level that we call rhythm and posture and balance. It's a little bit more challenging, but sometimes children find it a little bit hard, and then the go-to is to say, it's so boring, I don't want to do it anymore. But they only need a little bit of a nudge from somebody else. So then I often say to the parents, let's just chat with the child. And I love that because then we do it on Zoom or on whatever platform. And I have a conversation with the child. And, sometimes a child is so full of themselves and just want to show me that they can do it and they're too good for this. And it's so fantastic to build that little relationship with a child and just to indicate to them that I'm on their side. I don't want them to do anything
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
difficult. And then you see, yes, actually, it's a little bit challenging, but I'll try again. And then they're positive. I love that. It's just so good. Yeah.
What kind of recommendation would you give to a parent who thinks that like their child is stuck at a level?
Yeah. First of all, I think speak to us or to the other OT. But secondly, I don't think push the child too much and specifically don't give rewards or definitely no punishment because they don't want to do it. Rather give them a break. So that's one thing that I often recommend. Give them a break of 2 weeks or for during the school holiday, we're not going to do this. Or, but then very specifically set a time when you start again. Otherwise, you and the child will forget. So for
Mhm,
a parent, it's very important to have that date, mark it, put a reminder on because it's so easy to just say, oh, we should have
mhm.
started 2 weeks ago and we completely forgot. That is such a human thing to do. So, but I think if you know, okay, we can have a 3 week break and then we'll start again on that day, on that time, and that's important to do.
Mhm. Can you tell me a little bit about the preschool course as well?
Yes, the preschool course is mainly for children between 4 and 6 years old. 3 years old, that you don't see any issue, they might do most of the exercises and they might enjoy it very much. The preschool course is also developmentally sequenced. So they start in the beginning of the year with a course and or somewhere in the year, and they continue on this course towards over a year. It
Mhm,
is exercises that the ideal would be to do it every day for 5 days a week. But I also know that many of those kids don't go to daycare 5 days a week. They go 3 days
mhm,
a week
mhm.
or 2 days a week. So the educators should just accommodate that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll do one set of exercises for 3 weeks instead of for 2 weeks. The value, I think, is that the children do the exercises and they develop, but because the educator or teacher don't have to demonstrate the exercises, their hands are free to observe the children, to support them where needed, because sometimes they need a little bit hands over support,
Mhm,
but also to identify those that have problems and to refer them quickly for further assessment. Because it's
mhm,
so
mhm,
lovely for us as OTs to find a child before they go to school. Because the moment if they have issues and they go into school, the first thing that goes are the self-esteem. And the self-esteem is, and if the child doesn't have a good self-confidence, then it's so difficult to do anything because they're reluctant, they think they're going to fail. So we really want to step in before that happens. And
mhm, mhm.
one of the best things I did in my life was I met a mum on an airport and she said, oh, my son will remember you. He went to you before he was at school, and and she called him, and he was at university at that stage. And she called him and she said, here's Marga, you remember her. And he said, no, he can't remember me at all. And mum was she said, he enjoyed the session so much. She can't believe that he can't remember it. And I said to her, you know what? that is the best gift ever, because that child's problems were solved before he ever knew he had anything. And
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. That's
That's
beautiful.
so beautiful. Yes.
Mm,
Mhm,
mm.
mhm. That is great. They can also use, so I'm understanding that the preschool course is mostly kindergarten, and also they can use it at the childcare.
Yeah.
And the classroom course will be like from primary school. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
from primary school, year 1 to year 12. And that's a different set of exercises. The models speak to more mature people.
Mhm,
And they can actually do those exercises standing next to their desk in any average classroom. So they will bend down, but not too low. A girl will be able to do all the exercises without feeling embarrassed if she's wearing a dress.
mhm,
But it involves vestibular input, it
mhm,
involves a balancing component, it involves the two side of the body, the brain bridging, and
mhm,
it involves deep breathing, so and the rhythm. So all of
mhm, mhm,
those has a calming effect and it helps with focused attention.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Mm.
So important at
Yeah, it
schools at
is.
the moment. Yes.
Yeah, and it's
We
only
need
five
more
minutes, so
movement.
they can do it a few times per day, it doesn't matter. And
Mhm,
there's no
mhm,
specific order because it's not developmentally sequenced. It's just 5 minutes, do this one, next day, do 5 minutes that time, or before
mhm,
break and
mhm,
after break, whatever. It's a very,
mhm.
very casual implementation.
Very flexible as well for the teachers
Yes.
to implement. That is good.
Mhm.
All right. So we finished for today, Marga. Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank
much
you.
again to being here with me. And we will see you on the next episode on Thursday next week.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
And you will also interview some other people, not only me all the time,
Yes.
which I
Yes.
am.
We will
I'll be
have
happy to listen.
we will have some new faces as well in this episode. So yes, I'm very excited for the next ones as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Karen. All
Thank you
the
so much,
best.
Marga. See
Bye.
you next week. Bye.